Chapter 10, The 95-5 Code to Divine Interventions. The way to divine interventions is not to dial 911, but, surprisingly, to dial 955. What I'm about to share in this chapter is the 95-5 code to allowing divine interventions. When you understand the significance of the numbers 955, you would have grasped a very key piece of the puzzle. The 95-5 rules applies to almost every single thing you identify as a problem or issue in your life. 95 refers to the 95% of the time in our lives where we receive absolutely no physical signs of a problem. Let me explain. For most perceived problems in our lives, we are not reminded of the problem 95% of the time. Instead, it is only 5% of the time where we receive some physical signs or reminders of the issue. What do I mean by this? Let's take, for example, a perceived problems with one's finances. Suppose the problem is that you do not have enough money. If you really look at when you receive physical reminders and signals about the existence of this problem, you'll realize something very interesting, which is you only know it when you need to settle your bills or make a payment. It is only in those moments when you may be reminded of the fact that you do not have enough money. However, for the remainder of your time, I would say more than 95% of your day, the problem does not exist in your physical reality. The only reason why it remains at the foreground of your awareness is because of thoughts and memories replaying in your head. Those are your representations of reality and your constant reminders to yourself about the financial situation, but they are not physical phenomenon presenting itself to you. Once you understand the distinction between actual physical phenomenon presenting itself to you versus your thoughts reminding yourself about reality, you will be able to reap the rewards of these teachings very fast. The secret is to distinguish between when the moments are merely thinking about a problem versus when you are actually physically reminded about the problem. The former 95% of the time when you are thinking about a problem can be completely eliminated. If you do so, you will be making space for divine interventions to occur in your life. Examine how many times a day you are unavoidably reminded of some unwanted situation. I would guess that if you add those moments up, they would only amount to a few minutes a day. Of course, if your creditors are harassing you, then you would be reminded each day they do so, in which case I recommend that you work out an arrangement to reduce such instances. Whatever it is, we first want to keep physical reminders of current reality, that 5%, to a minimum. This may entail, as suggested above, working out an arrangement with other parties such as that you do not get reminded so often. Also, if you have physical objects around the house that remind you of the actual physical situation, remove them. Take them out of sight. Once again, using the example of an unwanted financial situation, I would not keep my bills lying around in plain sight. Anything that you can see and focus your attention on, even momentarily, demands that you give some thought to that object. Hence, remove any objects in your immediate surroundings that are not pleasant to you. Let me take you through how I do this. I do not leave my bills carelessly lying around even though I pay them promptly, in full, and on time. All of them go into a folder when they arrive in the mail, and I don't even look at what is inside that folder except once a month when I actually sit down to pay my bills. I recommend that you do the same too. I am surprised by the number of people who plaster their bills all over their workstation and keep it up on their notice boards at home or at work. They are afraid of being late on those payments and hence keep it in front of them as constant reminders. My advice is to set up a monthly schedule, once or twice a month, to pay your bills. I do mine once on the 30th or 31st of each month. I have chosen this timing after studying the due dates of all my bills, which are usually due by the first week of the following month. Hence, paying them at that point in the month ensures that I am on time. For the rest of the month, I do not look at the bills or even think about them. If you are worried about forgetting to pay or how to pay, write a post-it and paste it on your notice board. One post-it note is better than a whole board or a letter holder filled with bills.